Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. I am going to be talking about my top 10 movies of all time, my top 10 movies that got me into horror films. I am a huge fan of horror movies. I got a large collection of horror films, and to be honest with you, first, when I was growing up as a kid, I used to love Chuck Norris, Van Damme, Steven Seagal. Action was my shit. But then all of a sudden, after all the whole entire action movement, I really got into horror movies. Actually, while I was watching action, I was getting into horror, and these are the top 10 movies that got me into collecting horror movies and watching horror films nonstop. I've seen these movies countless of times. I've seen them. I can't even count how many times I've seen them. But definitely, I'm gonna show you guys my top 10 movies that influenced me to collect and watch horror movies throughout all these years that I've been a huge fan of the genre. So I'm gonna first I got two honorable mentions that didn't make the list, but I think I deserve give them a little room so I could talk about them a little bit. And I'm gonna be the there's only two of them. The two honorable mentions would be uh, since it's not a movie, I'm not gonna include it, but Tales from the Crypt. Now I got seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I believe it started in the early 90s, 1991, 92. And man, this show was amazing. This shit got me hooked. I used to love the Crypt Keeper. And I thought the episodes were amazing all the way to season 5. I think season 6 wasn't all that great. Season 5 was starting to fall off the rails. But definitely 1, 2, 3, seasons 1, 2, and 3 were amazing. 4 was really good too. So definitely I gotta give a shout out to Tales from the Crypt. Originally aired on HBO. I used to have that black box that had all the channels, and that's where I used to get my HBO from, channel 42. HBO, I used to watch this all the time. Tales from the Crypt, amazing. The episodes are really good. They were all short episodes, 22 minutes long, 25 minutes long, and they were all from like EC Comics. Uh, and awesome stories, and I this will live inside my heart forever. I thought this was a great series, all those episodes. So yeah, honorable mention right here. Another honorable mention, because I don't consider it to be complete horror. It's more of a comedy horror, so it's not, but definitely I got to give a shout out to Ghostbusters, especially part 1. Part 2 wasn't all that great, but part 1, to me as a kid growing up watching Ghostbusters, it was one of the greatest things ever. I thought it was an amazing movie. It was funny. It was fun. It was, you would look up to these, Ray, Winston, Peter, and Egon. And the movie, the soundtrack, the acting, the storyline, the ghost itself, it was pretty creepy. The librarian scene, all that stuff was awesome. And I had to give a shout out to this movie here, Ghostbusters. Honorable mention for sure. Those are my two honorable mention in this list. Now, onto the top 10 movies that got me into horror. Can't wait to show you guys what got me into horror. At number 10, I'm going to put in Silver Bullet. I thought it was a great movie. Very well acted. Gary Busey, performance of a lifetime here as Corey Haim's uncle. I think the priest gave an awesome performance. It's such a homey movie that reminds me a lot of my childhood while I was watching this. And it's just fantastic. It gives me a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia. This movie came out in 1985, so I was very young when this came out. But obviously Stephen King. We're gonna see him a couple of times in this list of my top 10 movies that got me into horror. Definitely, I had to put Silver Bullet. Great storyline, great twist. The kid's wheelchair. Corey Haim was in his prime in the 80s. Every kid wanted to be like him. He was the coolest kid around, and he made this movie so much cooler. I think this movie's fantastic. This is a release from Scream Factory, and it's on Blu-ray, but it looks great. Silver Bullet at number 10. Number 9, I had to put my favorite. Actually, this is not my favorite anthology of all time. Actually, my favorite anthology of all time is Trick or Treat. But I have deep nostalgia factor for Creepshow here. I thought this was a great collaboration between George A. Romero and Stephen King. 5 short stories that blend into like one main one. I recently saw the second one. I thought the second one was really good, but part 2 wasn't nowhere near as good as part 1. All the segments here are great. The cockroach segment, the Stephen King segment with the plants, the animatronic little monster was great, and then the one in the beach, the Ted Danza and Leslie Nielsen revenge story was great. And then the wraparound story was great. This is flawless, 10 out of 10. And definitely Creepshow. A lot of memories with Creepshow. This is my number 8. I mean, actually, my number 9. Sorry. So, at number 8, I have The Blair Witch Project. I had to put it in here because I am one of the fools that believed that this was an actual real found footage film. I thought they found the VHS at a park. Not a park, but in the woods, and they saw it and they put it out on, in the movie theaters as it was. And I was fooled by the propaganda. I was fooled by my friends telling me it was real. And I totally believed it. I bought into it, and I had to put it on the list because it creeped me out. It was the scariest shit I've ever seen back in 1999. When I saw it for the first time in the movie theaters, I was super freaked out. The ending was freaking. The whole movie, I've never seen anything like it. And to think that I thought it was something real, it was even more creepier. I thought it was a real, actual footage, movie. I didn't think that they were actors. I've never seen these actors before in my life. And then, maybe a month after, I actually thought it was real for a very long time. And a month after, I saw the cast on MTV, and I was like, what the fuck? And, it's a movie. It was not real. So definitely I had to put The Blair Witch Project in this list as my number 8. Number 7, I am going to put Chucky. I like part 1, 2, and 3. I think part 2 is the best film. However, I'm going to be talking about part 3. Part 3, I have great memories growing up as a kid, watching that, that military camp, the military base, and Chucky, putting the real bullets and the guns, and it was very cruel. But I thought part 3 was, a lot of people hate it. I thought it was really good, and part 3 was definitely my number 7 on this list. I thought the Child's Play 3 was great. Number 6, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, part 1. Obviously, part 1 was amazing. I thought it was a great movie. Great performances, and there's nothing negative to say. Got me into horror movies for sure. Freddy Krueger is such a cool character. Such a great memories watching this growing up. I think part 3 is probably the best one, but part 1 was the one that captivated me. And I gotta admit, there will never be another Freddy Krueger. Ever. Robert Englund, you're the best, man. Then at number 6, I am putting in Scream. A lot of people might be like, why Scream? Why this? I in a time where horror was dying and it was at its worst, 1996, horror was done. Dead. Slashers were gone. Dead in the water. Nothing was going on. And in comes Mr. Wes Craven with an all-star cast of people. Great storyline. Great twist at the end. Scream was definitely the powerhouse movie that brought horror back into everybody's lives. And during this time after Scream, then you had Valentine, and you had I Know What You Did Last Summer, and you had a bunch of clones that ignited horror all over again. So I give it props, and I have to put it as my number 6. Great fucking movie. Scream. I'm gonna defend it to the end. Now this one's gonna be a really shocker because it might not be in a lot of people's list, but this movie, I remember watching the crap out of it, and it's Night of Demons 2. I know part one is amazing. Part one was the one that everybody thinks of. But to me, I've seen this one so many times, and it was very, very memorable, especially watching it on cable as a kid. This came out in 1994, and I watched it when it came out. I remember the cover, renting this over and over again, watching it all over again. It was creepy. It had a fun story and atmosphere. I really enjoyed this a lot. Night of Demons 2. And then at my number 4, I would put Halloween Part 4. And yes, this is not the best Halloween in the series by any means, but it was my favorite growing up. I saw this movie like a million times. The cover is fucking badass. I love that cover. And I rent that VHS so many times. I had a crush on Danielle Harris when I was a kid. We were both kids, and she's about my age right now, so it didn't matter. She was beautiful. She was a really pretty girl, and she's still hot. I mean, I met her a couple of times and took some pictures with her. But this movie I remember this movie so vividly. It's my favorite Halloween. Halloween 4 for sure has to be there at my number 4. Even though Michael Myers is my number 1 all time, I love Michael Myers and I love all the Halloweens, but Part 4 is the one that really got me into collecting horror movies. Now, I gotta say, I got a tie here, because they're both equally great, and it's the same franchise. So I'm cheating, but I'm really not. So I have to say, Friday the 13th Part 3 and Part 4 were the pinnacle of the series. This shit got me so into Jason and horror movies. Like, it's awesome. Like, I really love these two movies. Part 3 was more memorable, but Part 4 was such a great movie. It's got to be a tie. I can't pick which one is better. But Friday the 13th, Part 3 and 4, definitely on my list of top 10 movies that got me into horror. And at number 1, you guys are never going to believe this, but the number 1 movie that got me into horror, and it's not really a crazy horror, gory movie, but I have to put it here because it's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. Even if it's not horror, it's just like all-time favorite. And that is The Lost Boys. My number 1 movie. I remember watching this constantly. I still watch it religiously, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. It never gets old. It's such a great movie. It's a perfect movie. 10 out of 10, all over. The greatest vampire movie ever made, and this really got me into horror. David there is the greatest vampire of all time. And then the whole story with Michael, the casting was perfect. Storyline was great. Joel Schumacher, it's hit or miss with that guy, but he really hit a grand slam with this movie. This movie is freaking amazing. The soundtrack is badass. The acting, so memorable. So many memorable scenes, and so many. I could recite this movie from start to finish. I think this is the greatest, and this is the movie that really got things going for me. And my interest of horror movies peaked when I got into this. I was like, man, I gotta start watching more movies like this. And definitely Lost Boys, my number 1 of all time, ever. So yeah, man. So a quick recap here. My number 1, obviously, The Lost Boys, badass. At number 2 would be the Friday the 13th. Awesome. Brings back so many great memories. Halloween 4, I've seen it a million times. I used to come from school and I used to pop this in, and I can't believe my mom used to let me watch this at such an early age. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. Night of Demons, I remember this vividly. The tail, the demon's tail, when Angela turned into the demon towards the end, it freaked the hell out of me. The makeup was amazing. Definitely Night of Demons. Scream, I had to put Scream in there at a time that horror movies, slashers in particular, were dead. In comes Scream and hit it out of the ballpark as well. Friday, not Friday the 13th. Freddy here with Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. Great story, great concept. I think they should have done so much more. They could still do more, but they don't. They just left it there. Chucky Child's Play Part 3 is the one that really got me into horror movie buying and collecting and watching. Part 2 is the better movie for sure. Part 1 was okay, but Part 2 is a better movie. But Part 3 is the one that really I've seen the most. So I got more connection with Part 3. This one freaked me out when I was not a kid. I wasn't a kid. I was a little older than being a kid. But 1999 Blair Witch Project, I thought it was real. I felt for it, man. I really felt for it. Creepshow, not my favorite anthology, but the nostalgia factor and everything that goes with it. Creepshow is a perfect anthology made by Masterminds. And then you got Silver Bullet, very homey. This hits hard. I love everything about Silver Bullet. And my honorable mentions, Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters, but it's not a horror movie. And Tales from the Crypt, great show. So that does it, guys. Those are my top 10 films that got me into horror. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye. Good night.